It's time for Down on the Corner with Dale Hoffman, North Arkansas's premier news talk program. Brought to you by Brewed Awakening Coffee, with 3 locations to serve you. Baxter Regional Medical Center lobby, Highway 62 412 at Balmer Boulevard, and the Walmart East Plaza. And now, Down on the Corner.
Good morning, North Arkansas and Southern Missouri. It is Tuesday, March 13th, 2018. It is 7 a.m.
That it is.
Yep. Did you ever find that lost hour, Jerry?
I'll get it back in about 3 weeks, man.
About 3 weeks.
Yeah. 5 minutes a day, I'll eventually recoup it.
Late October, 1st November. Good morning. Welcome to Down on the Corner program. Dale Hoffman, your host, along with Scooter Callis and Jerry Hogan. 28 degrees out there, 29 degrees. I'm ready.
It's your kind of weather, isn't it?
No, it ain't my kind of weather. No, it ain't.
I don't mind a little chilly now.
It's March.
I did have to scrape that little circle on my window so I could see this morning, but time I got to the end of the road, it was all melted.
And you use MasterCard or Visa to do that?
I got a scraper.
You're not cheap like Jerry.
No, Jerry.
Oh, I got a scraper. I got a nice leather glove, wool insert. Ooh. I got the Cadillac of scrapers, man.
No, that's terrible. You need a better one than that.
Oh, okay.
You don't to a Chrysler guy,
like a horse hoof cleaner or something.
I have been known to use all kinds of stuff to get the ice off. One particular time, I used my hot coffee.
Oh, my. Boy, the wipers had fun smearing that around.
They did. It's a messy scene, but it worked.
Oh. Coffee frozen to your windshield.
Only Jerry.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, I reckon. Anyway, it's cold out there this morning, but
I do want to throw out a disclaimer. Do not pour hot coffee on your windshield. Hot coffee on cold windshield is liable to crack the windshield.
Well, I've tested it. I put it through the acid test.
I'm just recommending
my
that
window
our viewers
is fine.
do not do the stupid
What all have you
mistakes
poured on
that
your
Jerry
windshield,
does.
Jerry? Coffee or what else?
I've used hot water, coffee, Coca-Cola, all kinds of stuff, man.
Boy.
And it's a Ford. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you can't tear it up any worse. Oh, no.
Woo!
No.
One for Scooter.
I'm good with Fords.
We're enjoying Brewed Awakening coffee. Can you tell?
What?
You're drinking coffee today. Instead of water?
I am, and I don't know what you guys are worried about. I mean, I don't think this coffee is very strong at all. It doesn't really affect me. It doesn't really do anything. I mean, it's fine coffee. I don't know
my coffee. Brewed Awakening coffee, the best coffee in town. If you're not drinking Brewed Awakening, you're drinking muddy water. Check out their 3 locations: Balmer Boulevard, BRMC Lobby, and 62 East Plaza out by Anytime Fitness.
Come by here.
Or come by here and have a cup of coffee with us. I think Omar's got some over there.
Sit in, watch
running
the show.
laps around the building.
See how things go.
Mm-hmm.
We're easy to deal with. We may even put you on the air. Who knows?
There you go. Yeah.
We'll make fun of you either way, but
why should they be any difference? I'll just sit in this chair. Morning prayer brought to you by Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas. With all our respect, Roller Funeral Homes across the state of Arkansas, they serve the state very, very well. And when you need their particular type of service, they are the ones to choose. Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas. With all our respect, let's pause now for our morning prayer. Heavenly Father, it seems we're having issues within some of our smaller towns. Basically, if I boil it down to brass tacks, it's lack of respect for authority. Lord, in my days in school, we got our butt whacked for breaking the rules. Now teachers get cussed and sued when trying to maintain discipline in the classroom. Lord, we as parents have to teach respect, but perhaps parents need to learn it first. What kind of society are we creating when we allow students to overrule the classroom or when we get pulled over by a policeman? Scary thoughts, but that's my thought. That's my prayer today. Amen.
Amen.
Roller Funeral Home brings you morning prayer each and every day. Roller Funeral Homes across the state of Arkansas. With all our respect, Roller Funeral Homes. Morning weather. Okay, guys. 1, 2, 3.
Greg's Farm Service.
Unison, guy. You're late. You look. 1, 2, 3.
Greg's Farm Service.
In stereo. Left channel on Jerry. Right channel on Scooter. There you go.
That was terrible.
See, that's how much I love Greg's, because I would not do that for anybody else in the world, man.
You enjoy going out there, don't you?
Oh, I go out there all the time, man. Once, twice a week.
What about tools? They get tools?
Yeah. Garden tools.
Garden tools.
Mm-hmm. They got vaccines for your animal, all the tack for your horses. In fact, I think they have a sale for the month of March. All horse tack is 15% off. Farrier tools are not included in that. But,
I just went and picked up another load of hay.
Did you? Oh, yeah. I saw that. They've got the Martin houses, then, of course, onion sets, garlic bulb seeds, potatoes. They got baby chicks through, I think, what did they say, March 17 on something on this, the end of the week. Don't forget your seeds. Then they have prevent weeds by applying pre-emergence. And they've got 6,000 square feet coverage for $19.99. Weed Beater Complete is the product.
Now's
And Cowgirl Turf Clothing.
Down.
Do what?
Now it's time to get that down. Get them weeds under control before they get out of control.
How long has it got to be out there before it rains?
I don't know. That's a good question for Greg.
Depends on the temperature, too.
Oh, really?
Like, you can hit a weed with Roundup in summertime. That sucker's dead in 24 hours, man. It all depends on the weather.
But for answers like that, go to Greg's.
Either go by, look online. They got a lot of information online. So.
And that website is?
Good question.
Greg'sFarmServices.com.
There you go.
I'm hoping. You probably should have looked that up before opening your mouth. No.
Well, why don't I pull it up real quick?
There you go. Why don't we bring up their site?
Let's see what we can do. Greg Farm Services. Hey, this.
Put it in the search engine. It's going to pop up.
Does anybody that goes to Greg's actually go online and look?
Well, you should if you're wondering when to do stuff. And I mean, they got a lot of information on there.
And you just go in there
All
and
right,
talk
there
to
we go,
Tom.
Scooter. You can pull that up. Greg Farm Services, on the farm or around the home. And that's their website right there.
Well,
Store
that's a
specials and
pretty
announcements. You can
website.
click right here and check this out. There you go. Spring open house March 24th. 10% off any hummingbird feeder. Spring tax sale 15% off right there. Scott's topsoil, great price, $1.99 for 3/4 of a cubic foot. All
They
kinds
got
of
an
good
open
things.
house?
Yeah, March 24th. That's a week from Saturday.
There you go.
Straw bales, Momax. I'm gonna have to get some of that.
Momax.
Well, it looks like I got a Subway going in the backyard. Not the restaurant. I mean, like New York City Subway.
Let me know how that stuff works. I've been fighting those things for 5 years.
I've
One
been
time
just-
my neighbor came out, I had no shirt on, I had my shotgun, water hose. He's like, man, what
Flush 'em
are you
out there,
doing? So I'm
You
just
use the water hose, try to flush them
I-
out. I do too.
Yeah,
flushing,
yeah.
Shotgun, yeah.
Greg Farm
no
Services, on the farm or around the home. Temperature-wise in Mountain Home, we start today at 29 degrees here, 33 at Harrison, 31 in Hardy. 27 at Mountain View, it's 25 in Yellville, 27 in Marshall. Calico Rock along White River is 29 degrees. Southeast Missouri, Poplar Bluff, Missouri at 31. Southwest Missouri and Branson, 28. South Central Missouri, 26 at West Plains. 12 degrees at Watford City, North Dakota, where my grandson turns 1 year old today. Hi, Chatham.
Hey, big boy.
Happy birthday, buddy. Anchorage, Alaska. Oh, come on. It's warmer in Anchorage. It's 30 in Anchorage and 29 here.
How can that be?
I don't know.
It's not right. It's just not.
It should be minus 30 in Anchorage or something. Maybe it's different in Nome. I don't know. On the radar, the East Coast and West Coast is getting some precip right now, but well, a little bit in the panhandle of Oklahoma right there too. Maybe that'll develop into a little bit more shower activity. As you can see on the radar, the northwest coast of California going up into the west coast of Oregon, a little bit out just to the west of the state of Washington. Then that third nor'easter, I guess, is that third one? They seem like they get one every 2 or 3 days up there. They've been getting snow in Virginia and all the way up the coast. I've been getting pictures from friends in Virginia over there and saying, look out here, it's snowing all the way down into the Carolinas. You see the remnants of that nor'easter right there in the New England area.
Yep.
And so we need to check that drought monitor real quick. I'm going to bring that up, Scooter. Can you bear with me for a minute while I pull that up?
got you.
All right, got me covered. Arkansas drought monitor.
He's a little slow, ladies and gentlemen. So
A little slow. It's like really slow.
he blames it on the computer one peck at a time.
Whoa, not bad at all. Look at this
No.
change. There you go. Now, this is quite a difference that we've had since January 1 into February 1st and even March 1st. Now we're just abnormally dry. At one point, we were a D3 in Baxter, Fulton, part of Stone County, part of Sharp County. We were a D3 extreme drought. Right here, it's showing the northern tier of counties. I don't know if I remember all. Fulton, Baxter, Boone, Marion, Carroll, and Washington counties right there, abnormally dry, but that's a far better improvement than what we've had over the past 3 or 4 months right there.
Oh, heck yeah.
So that is looking pretty good right there.
I like that.
Right.
We got some warm days ahead of us, or what do we?
Well, the forecast, let's pull up, look at that. We've got some cold weather in the southeast on that map for Mountain Home and surrounding areas. I use Mountain Home as just the click point, but this is basically for, look at this, Thursday, high of 70.
Wow. See, now that was worth clicking to.
You're not a kidding. Wow.
What's the low?
Wednesday 58, Thursday 70, but Thursday night 40% chance of showers, and then Friday morning they're calling for a high of 65 with a 50% chance of showers, and 50% on Friday night, partly sunny on Saturday with a high of 67.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Finally.
So that will be some nice weather coming in for, and 65 on Monday, Sunday, high of 60. I'm ready for warmer weather. I'm tired of wearing a coat to work every day. I looked at the thermometer this morning, like 29, 26, something like that. Oh, okay. Community calendar, Jerry. What you got?
All right, man. We have today at ASU Mountain Home, John Maxwell. He's going to do a Gaston lecture on Oh, Mr. Faulkner, Do You Right? 2-hour lecture from 6 to 8 this evening at the Shed.
That's tonight?
Yep.
All right.
Man, I like those things. You ever go to those lectures and just like Vince Anderson or something?
No, I need to hear it.
Well, that's pretty cool stuff.
Bet.
March 15th, Thursday, 5 p.m. is Pinks to Pasta Night. Proceeds go to benefit the Mountain Home Choir. And in Mountain View, March 17th, Saturday at 4:30 p.m., you have Celtic in the Caverns. So, another one of those cavern concerts going on. And if you don't want to do that, you can go to March Madness, St. Patty's Day at Big Creek Golf and Country Club, March 17th at 10 a.m. Sit around, drink green beer, and watch basketball.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Green beer and basketball?
You had me at the beer. I don't know. The basketball's okay, but and I think we've got spring break coming up for the kids next week, don't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All next week.
Yeah. All right.
And don't forget Old Time Restaurant this Thursday and Friday, St. Patty's Day. We have a ball with this.
Green eggs and ham?
No, we're actually doing corned beef and cabbage.
Wow.
And we have a ball. I mean,
true Irish.
You will get green water to drink. But,
green water.
Yeah. You ever been in there? They all dress up for St. Patty's Day, and it's
I've had the corned beef and cabbage quite a few times, so I guess I have. Is that the only holiday you serving on?
Yep.
Yep. I've been
Coming
there.
up after the break, I've got this is the funniest text. So the folks from BRMC know what I'm talking about here. I get a text from Tobias Pugley, and I said, BRMC scheduled for Down on the Corner, XL7 TV, 7 tomorrow. Here's his response. I'm sending you the vampires. I said, thanks, I think. With that, we'll go to break and let you see.
We've got vampires coming up next.
Be right back.
There's something wrong with that.
You've tried medications just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling, why don't you try a better approach to health? Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Osgood, and at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage therapy, and nutritional counseling. Our 20 years of service has led to successful results.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
I recommend Mountain Home Family Chiropractic because it really works and keeps me pain-free.
Mountain Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment.
Your White River getaway starts at Cotter Trout Lodge, where you find convenient, clean, and affordable accommodations right in the heart of Cotter, Arkansas. Take advantage of the Natural State Fly Shop across the road for all your supplies and guided fly fishing needs. Countless delicious homemade menu options await to satisfy your hunger cravings at the White Sands Cafe. Your complete White River getaway is cradled in the east arm of the historic Ruthven Rainbow Bridge at the Cotter Trout Lodge, Natural State Fly Shop, and the White Sands Cafe.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Hi, I'm Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup. If anybody needs trash service in the area, please give us a call. Arch Trash Service is veteran owned, and I've been in the local area resident for over 20 years. I'll provide a better service than the other guys and even provide front door service trash pickup for those that aren't able to take their trash to the curb. We'll also pick up almost anything and even provide free recycling. I am Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup, and please give me a call for all your trash service needs.
Have you ever noticed every
Oh, 716, we want to welcome BRMC to our show today. And, okay, I got to say, there's the vampires.
Hate that term. Hate that term. We hate it.
I bet you do. I bet.
Why?
But what a job. I mean, a lot of responsibility. So we have Kathy, Omar, and Emily here today from BRMC. And I just let y'all take and run with this. Step one, Omar.
Okay, well, like you said, we got Emily Lancaster here and Kathy McNair. Kathy McNair is our phlebotomy supervisor. Emily, for the longest time, worked our night shift for a while, and recently has gone on at the clinic, regional family, and has been working there. Emily's a Yellville native, been around town for a while. She's actually working in about the same place she was born, since OB was in that area.
In 84. long time ago.
So, Emily, do you want to talk a little bit about phlebotomy?
Really just kind of fell into it. Started at the college at ASU. Started doing clinicals, just discovered I was actually halfway good at it, applied, and I've been there for about 8 years. I did nights. I was the person that come around and wake you up in the middle of the night and get the blood work for the doctor so he could decide if he wanted to keep you another day or send you home or what he needed to do to make you better. Recently started at the clinic. I work at the clinic now. I love it there. I love my patients. That's the best part of it, is y'all being patient. You're so happy to see me, and most of you, because you want to know what your A1C is, what your lipid is, how you're doing. So that's pretty much it. I mean, and then I run tests. I forget that part. I do some of the tests, like I do your occult bloods, I do your flu tests, I'm trying to think of all the tests I do. I run some of the tests. I don't do all of it. Omar does the blood side of it. I won't take his credit.
Yep. And so phlebotomy is kind of the face of the laboratory. The rest of us that work in the back of the lab, we actually don't have a lot of patient contact. So we want our phlebotomists to be to represent us in a wonderful light, and Emily does a great job at it, and all our phlebotomists do. They're kind to the patients, and a lot of people have some fear of needles and such, and they're really good at calming them down and getting them comfortable. Your younger kids and such, those are tough draws sometimes, and they're really good with them. Give them stickers when they're done, and are real kind. And it takes a person like that to do that. I'm not great with people as far as with patients go, and so I knew when I was going into the profession that I needed to find some place behind the scenes. So I'm really happy and grateful for the folks that are good with our patients, and Emily is one of those people, and Kathy's good with scheduling them
and wrangling us in,
right? Making sure we've got the right people in the right place at the right time. And she's just done a wonderful job with that. How long have you been?
I've been at Baxter Regional for 14 years this year. I have 26 phlebotomists. We have 3 sets of different phlebotomists at Baxter Regional. We have the phlebotomist EKG. That's a phlebotomist that draws your blood and just does the EKGs. We have a phlebotomist point of care testing, and that phlebotomist can run like the basic machines that we have that are at the bedside. They can do AccuChecks, that checks your glucose. They can do an ACT that can check when you're getting a heart cath and the line that's in your leg, if it's ready to come out. I also have what Emily is as a CLA. Emily can run more complex tests at the bedside with the supervision of the techs. She can run a PT-INR in the clinic setting where it can check your coagulation in the clinic. She can run a basic drug screen cup where when you're on a medicine for long term, the doctor can get an immediate result to tell you what your medicine's on. So with the supervision of the tech, she's able to run some of this stuff in the clinic setting so that the doctor gets an immediate result. So she is the face for the techs and is able to give them immediate results when they need it. The phlebotomists also do a lot of processing in the lab. We have 23 clinics? 23 clinics, I believe. And out of those 23 clinics, I have 4 draw stations with phlebotomists in them. My phlebotomists also register patients. So when you go to the hospital, you go to admissions, and then you get registered, you come to the lab, and they process. My clinic people, like Emily registers, she draws, she processes, then sends with our courier the samples to the hospital to get processed. I have several that do that. My second shift phlebotomists also register on top of drawing blood and take care of the paperwork side and insurance and billing. And that's a behind the scenes thing that a lot of people don't realize that phlebotomists do, that they do a lot of paperwork that a lot of people don't realize that
we're doing.
The breakdowns. We also, when the techs collect the bone marrows with the doctors will do a bone marrow. The techs process the samples and do the slides and get them read out. They also have to go to a reference lab. The phlebotomists are the ones that package and get all those samples where they go to the reference lab. They're the ones that scan in your results to medical records, get those reference lab samples broke down. We check a lot of, when the patient comes into the hospital, we do a lot of double checks on order accuracy. We have to have 2 identifiers at least on every sample. So they process samples and double check that those samples are accurate when we get them. So when a patient comes in with a specimen drop off, the first thing they do is greet them. They check the sample, grab the sample, and they make sure that all your information's on there so that the sample doesn't get rejected when it comes through the lab. Then they take the samples to the techs and make sure the techs have accurate information when loading machines and taking care of samples.
So that little vial of blood has a lot of history to be made.
All right. Let me get this right, because I got this out of this whole storyline here. Is you schedule her to go out there. She gets to be the bad guy and put the needles and draw all the blood. Meanwhile, he's hiding behind her the whole time. Am I close?
About right.
And then when these 2 both get in trouble, I'm the one that goes out and goes up and takes care of the patient report and goes and apologizes for all of them.
I'm getting this down. Okay, we're good.
Yep. And, you know, as medicine advances, point of care is going to become a much larger deal. Like Star Trek, when they had the little tricorder thing that they waved over somebody and knew everything about them. We're almost there. We've got a lot of tests that you can run in the palm of your hand, and as those develop and become cheaper and more marketable, it's our phlebotomists at the bedside that'll start running those tests. And so they'll have cardiac markers and your chemistries and all those things being done at the bedside right next to the patient and giving that directly to the physician. And one of the big things that a quality marker that we use in the laboratory is turnaround time. How fast can we get the results from the patient to the physician? And as we can lower and lower that turnaround time, make it shorter and shorter, it is a direct correlation to the quality of care that we can give to the patients. And the phlebotomists will play a central role in that as it moves forward. So I imagine in another 5 years or so, you'll see a lot of labs being done at the bedside.
That's amazing. I'm a fan of the old TV show MASH, and what comes to mind is they had a patient with a high fever, and they said, well, let's run a sample to wherever they had to go to Seoul, Korea. So, okay, we'll take a sample. We should have results back in 72 hours. And Hawkeye says, 72 hours? The guy could die in 72 hours. Why don't we have an incubator here? So blah, 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 I don't know all the technical terms. So, well, that would be a convenience, but there again, time factor. 72 hours just to find out what's wrong with the guy with a fever.
Oh yeah, most of my patients are shocked that if they come in the morning for their fasting labs, the nurses are calling them by that afternoon to tell them their results. They're like, well, you have them already? And they're like, yeah, because my courier will come and pick up at noon, and he takes it to the hospital, and then the hospital processes it, and they're done by, like, most of the time 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and so they're calling them out and telling them their results already. So.
It takes a lot of teamwork for them to get this done. As Omar said, face of the lab, the behind the scenes. But between the two sets of groups that work in the lab, if they didn't work together the way they do, we couldn't get those samples out the way we pushed them out. And we try to be as accurate and as fast and timely as we possibly can.
And I think the accuracy, that's the magic word.
Yes, accuracy.
Okay, stupid question of the day. How do you keep it all straight? If you've got Betty Joe over here and Helen over here, how do you keep from swapping them? I mean,
you do it one at a time. You have the ticket and it has their name and it has their birthday. When you pull it back, I'm asking you that to make sure you stood up as the right person, because sometimes you're just eager to get out of there and you hear a name and you're going to pop up. So when I bring you back, that's why I ask your name and your birthday. I'm not doing it to be funny. I want to make sure that this ticket, these tests, go to you.
So you
Same
double
thing
check
in the
your
middle,
double checks 3 times.
In the middle of the morning when I wake you up, that's why I'm asking you. And that's why I say if you're groggy, that's why I look at your bracelet. I want to make sure these tests are for you, that the results the doctor gets is yours. That is the most vital role as a phlebotomist. And if it messes up, I take it as a whole because the lab messed up. It's like we all are a team, and so when one of us messes up, it's all of us. So we try to correct those errors as they come, and we're doing fabulously at it.
And it's tracked. There's a national patient safety goal. So the whole nation has these goals that they set up in healthcare, and one of them is labeling, specimen handling, specimen labeling, and that's throughout. So we have what we call interdisciplinary collaboration. So with nursing and radiology and all the other departments, all of them have have the patient identification as a national patient safety goal. And one of the things in medicine in the 80s and 90s, they were kind of siloed, like each department kind of only spoke with each other kind of deal. And only maybe in the last 5-10 years, they've really started coming together and learning how to work together. And then once that started happening, now we're looking at finding ways to bring all of the clinics and everything together into one conglomerate, so that we can all, no matter where you go, you can always find that patient's information and use it. Because with the advent of electronic health records, they're able to pull information from whatever clinic they went to, and the physician gets the whole picture right there while the patient's sitting down.
Wow. Well, I get to think about it. The football team comes together in a huddle as a team. It's not just a few over here and a few over here, a few over here, and try to make the game a winner. Makes good sense.
Right.
Anyway, 7:29, and we need to take a break. Visiting with BRMC and Scooter. How about a couple of commercials in there for us?
Be right back.
All right.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Coming in 2018, DHF Archery Range, brought to you by DeerHunterFan.com TV and Steadyform. This 10,000 square foot indoor climate-controlled archery range will feature 3D targets, 3D pop-up, and state-of-the-art video shooting. DHF Archery Range will be open to the public and available for all ages. It's a great facility for hunters and archers alike and located in the center of the Ozarks in beautiful Bull Shoals, Arkansas. That's DHF Archery Range coming in 2018. Keep on the lookout for more details and their grand opening announcement soon. More than just propane, Reeves Propane provides you full-service propane delivery as well as tank and piping installation. We are your dependable choice, offering the very best in personal service with on-time deliveries and competitive prices. Reeves Propane also sells and installs tankless water heaters and appliances and can even convert your gas cook stove to liquid propane. So no need to fuss and cuss about bad service. Call us at Reeves Propane. We greatly appreciate your business and God bless.
Do you know where your money goes when you give to charity? At the Salvation Army, 85 cents of every dollar stays to help those in need in our local community. Hi, I'm Captain Spaulding. The money we raise help people in the surrounding 5 counties, including Baxter, Marion, Sharp, Izzard, and Fulton. You can help by donating your unwanted items and by shopping at the Salvation Army store. Those in need get assistance with rent, utilities, sending kids to camp, and many other things. When it comes to this charity, the Salvation Army always helps those in our community.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Hello, I'm Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned way with honesty and integrity. And we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. We also have a lot full of pre-owned cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from. So come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
$7:33 on this 13th of March. Once again, I want to tell my grandson up in North Dakota, happy birthday. First birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Chatham. Oh, hope he's watching today. Anyway, BRMC's here today, and did y'all want to do some get even? Is that what you want to do? There's a few things you wanted to plug, though. Somebody said health fair.
Our health fair, we're doing that, what days?
April 18th and 19th. It is our annual health fair that we do at the fairgrounds. I believe it is still free. We do them in the mornings, so you do need to be fasting. We do the glucose, the lipid, and the PSA for the males. We usually see anywhere from 500 to 800 samples in those 2 days. It is a great service that we offer the community, so we recommend that anybody take advantage of that. All you have to do is come through the fairground lines. It is a little bit of a wait, but it is worth the wait. And that's April 18th and 19th.
And there's a lot of other stuff there.
Yes.
There's many booths from different organizations and different places around. And there's not just lab, there's also I believe nursing students do your blood pressure. I mean, the whole thing's packed, the whole fairground building. So come out and see us.
Yeah. And if you're afraid of needles, on the break we were talking about how we've improved needle sticks. So
our devices that we collect our blood and samples with are constantly improving. We were discussing, even 15, 20 years ago, some of the needles were really big when you drew the blood, and
they sharpened them.
Yeah, and they sharpened them.
You get a new one every time.
Well, good. And also, from the lab point of view, for the back of the lab, we use a lot less blood than we used to. I remember even when I was in the Navy, we drew HIVs, and it was a big old tube that we had to fill up. Wow. And now we use like 10 microliters, which is like just a drop of blood. And it's just like when we get the sample, we spin it down, and you take the top off of it there, and there's just a little serum. You take 10 microliters off the top and run it through the machine, and it's nothing like it used to be.
Yeah, and that comes in really handy for us because you get these really difficult sticks where there's no veins and you can't hardly find anything. I had one yesterday. I barely got like 2 mils of blood out of this person, and my techs were still able to do all the tests that she needed using that amount. And I even called them. I was like, thank you so much. Because it's not only for me, I don't have to stick them again, but they don't have to be stuck again. So that's really awesome.
Omar brought up a good point. There was a lot of teamwork in that because he runs that HIV sample when it's ran with that 10 microliters that he was talking about. The sample that we draw a full 4 ml tube of blood to get that sample run. But if his test is positive or it's a close positive, we send that out for confirmation to a reference lab outside the hospital to confirm any of our results that may be questionable. So if a result is where it's one of those that could affect their quality of life, we definitely send out for confirmations on those. And a lot of the phlebotomists are the ones that process those samples with the techs. Again, that shows that teamwork where the front line, who shows the face of the lab, and the ones behind the scenes work together to get that sample taken care of.
So this line of work, what got you into this line of work rather than going ahead and studying becoming just regular doctors, a medical doctor?
Oh, that's hard. Mine, I like the patient interaction. I like being able to see the patient. And some days you're there for the best day of their life. They're fixing to have a baby. And some day you're there for the worst day of their life. They found out they had cancer through your blood work. But they remember you, because I've had a patient that remembered me outside of the hospital, and he said, you were really nice. You were really sweet when I needed you, Yeah. And I like that. If it's not me, who? And my mom says I find my calling stabbing people with needles. But I like it. I like the people.
It's interesting.
We don't go into this profession to hurt people. We go in to take care of it. The science is a good thing. You got to really enjoy and be knowledgeable in what you're doing. The phlebotomists go through a course-long training at ASU. I usually don't hire and train off the streets. We used to when I first hired in at 14 years ago, where we didn't have a program through ASU where we had a formalized training for them. We now have a semester-long training where they have to have 100 hours and 100 sticks to even take a national certification, and they qualify every phlebotomist after that course to take a national certification. And some of the things they test on it's touching base with what they touch on, because they are processing those samples.
And Gretchen Henley is our teacher at ASU Mountain Home. She does a wonderful job. I remember, I guess Thursday this last week, she brought in all of her students, and I took them around the lab with her and showed them all the parts of the lab and how it works and how we all work together. And we grow those relationships in an attempt to find folks that want to do this and want to help people. And you can really tell, most of the students, if not all, are really in this to help the people in their community, and they're excited and full of passion, and it's wonderful to see.
And it's a good way to find what you want to do. We see all aspects of the hospital. We do ER, we're on the floors, we help x-ray with stuff as well. And so a lot of people use it as a stepping stone. We've had a LPN just graduate recently that was a phlebotomist, an RN that just graduated recently that was a phlebotomist. And you see, it's kind of an eye-opener. You see what department you want to do, and then you can continue your education, because we do have flexible hours, because the hospital is open 24 hours a day, and there's always a phlebotomist there.
I've had 3 phlebotomists that have moved on to be doctors.
Really?
In the 14 years, I've had 3 phlebotomists. One is actually doing his training up in Maryland right now. So they use it as a knowledge-based stepping stone so that they can understand what they're processing and taking care of.
What about continuing ed? Is there a constant continuing ed?
Yes, there is. There is constantly education we go through. We in the lab are CAP certified, and that education, that means I have to keep up to date on any familiarized SOPs. That's our standards that we go by. And then they have to have an annual competency where I go through and check off each of their criteria in the lab to make sure that they're doing their jobs correctly. And then the tech with the BSMT make sure that all their quality controls are done like they're supposed to be, and goes behind them and makes sure that they're running samples accurately. And then those surveyors, the CAP surveyors, make sure the techs are doing their jobs appropriately. So there's quality checks all through the lab to make sure that we're doing our processes correctly.
Some of the acronyms, CAP is College of American Pathologists, so that's our national registry, our national certification, and those are the folks that come in and inspect our lab every 2 years and make sure that we're doing things correctly. And BSMT is a Bachelor of Science in Medical Technology.
Oh, the ASCP. You can do continuing ed through them.
Yeah, ASCP is American Society of Clinical Pathologists. All of those are, and every medical society has little groups like that that work together to make sure that we're doing things correctly. So every 2 years we just have a team of inspectors that come through, and they look through all of your paperwork, make sure that you're doing quality controls on all of your samples, and that we're doing our continuing ed.
And we make sure we know what to get our techs to run.
Right,
exactly. What test goes in what tube.
All of that comes together to provide a serious quality medical care to our patients.
So the bottom line is, don't cut corners.
Don't cut corners.
You have people's lives in your hands.
Right.
If you cut a corner, it's going to get caught on the front end. You can tell off of the quality of the sample, how the sample was processed. There are ways to catch those in the process. And, even in a training process, you think you've got the accurate sample, there's a way to catch that. They have delta checks on samples that'll flag them to let them know, hey, this may not match that last sample. So there are ways in the lab to double check ourselves to make sure that we're running the right sample the right way every time.
Because everybody does this. Oh, it's 15 to 5. I got to get out here right at 5 o'clock. I need to hurry through this. What happens if that happens?
If that happens, what happens? We have corrective actions. We're not going to say we're 99%. There is going to be errors and mistakes. When those happens, we go through and fix our processes. It's a learning experience. So say for some reason her sample, and I'm going to use you, is the labeling's bad, or we slapped on another label, as you said, and because we didn't watch what we were doing. The tech most of the time can catch that on the machine, because the machine will flag and say, hey, this sample's been ran before, or hey, there's something wrong with this result. Most of the time we'll catch that. If we don't catch it, the nursing, that's the next step. There's always a tier where somebody's catching the error in the process. So the whole hospital as a whole is a team on double checking each other. It's not just one person. When we're in the breakdown, he can kind of explain a little further in the backside.
Sure. So there's a little science behind it. All of us have a specific mean cell volume. So each one of our cells are a specific size, every person at that, unless you've had a transfusion. And so what we do immediately after we run your complete blood count, it gives us a mean cell volume. If your mean cell volume has changed by quite a bit, I'm going to be calling the floor and figuring out what's going on. Have they recently had a transfusion? No. All right, well, we may have a mislabel. And so then we redraw and run it again to verify that we have the correct patient. And that's one of several ways. Also, you can look at their electrolytes and things like that, but it will be caught immediately if it gets to the instruments.
Well,
so
sometimes we catch ourselves.
And most of the time
we catch ourselves.
Yeah.
You notice that's just not right.
So 4:45 or 5:15 when they're about to go home, that if they do something like that, in all likelihood they're going to be redrawing the patient anyway. So
there's checks and balances in the lab. So in those checks and balances, if you do everything that's per the standard, and that's how we're covered in the lab, is to follow your procedure and check yourself, and that's how you catch it.
Well, yeah, your SOP. Wow.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to happen is for those samples to get to the patient's chart, the results get to the patient's chart, and the physician to act on it. So what we're doing is keeping that from happening.
We constantly check each other's work, check ourselves. To get that far.
Do you ever come to a point where you say, can you double check this for me?
Yes.
I've done that before. I had a patient I drew on morning labs, and her CBC was really low, and they wanted to make sure it was right. And when I went, or they were actually going to give her some blood, so they wanted to type her too. And so when I went back, I noticed her IV was on, and I worried. I was like, that's the arm I drew. Did I draw above it? And that's why her CBC was so low. So I went to my tech. I said, before you do that, would you double check this? And I gave her another purple from the other arm. And it turned out her CBC was that low, and they had just took that IV after I took her blood. But we constantly check ourselves, because you question yourselves when you have, somebody's life.
But then with your training, oops, that may not have been, and you start thinking, I need to double check myself.
Because you don't, in the morning runs, we can draw people sometimes. And so 30 samples, sometimes you question yourself, but you just do it. Kathy always told me from day one, you do it the same way every time. That way you're not messing up.
Time for a quick break. More with BRMC right after this. Scooter?
Be right back.
Why would I recommend Hospice of the Ozarks? Because I know the people that work there, I know their hearts, and I know that their desire is to help people with the suffering and the anxiety and the things that can come with either terminal diagnosis or a terminal condition. We want them to have a peace of heart and to have a comfort and to know that someone's there to help them through that so they can enjoy the time that they have.
Life is too short to wear boring clothes. Welcome to Shabby to Chic Salon and Boutique, where we carry the latest trends and fashions and accessories at prices anyone can enjoy. Feel beautiful while looking fabulous with a large range of fashions that fits anyone's sense of style. You're sure to discover something unique and new at every visit. Shabby to Chic also features 12 professional stylists, aesthetics by Amy J, a nail technician, and 4 tanning beds. Excite your style at Shabby to Chic Salon and Boutique in Mountain Home.
With a large showroom of over 13,000 square feet, the Furniture Depot is your local choice for quality name brand furniture at prices anyone can afford. They carry a great selection of catnapper recliners, power recliners with lumbar support and lift chairs. Check out Furniture Depot's variety of living room and dining room sets in various styles and designs. And don't forget about their mattress gallery featuring Serta, Symbol mattresses, and adjustable beds. Family owned and operated, that's Furniture Depot, located in the Ozark Shopping Center in Mountain Home.
You've tried medications just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling, why don't you try a better approach to health? Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Osgood, and at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage therapy, and nutritional counseling. Our 20 years of service has led to successful results.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
I recommend Mountain Home Family Chiropractic because it really works and keeps me pain-free.
Mountain Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment.
Your White River Getaway starts at Cotter Trout Lodge, where you find convenient, clean, and affordable accommodations right in the heart of Cotter, Arkansas. Take advantage of the Natural State Fly Shop across the road for all your supplies and guided fly fishing needs. Countless delicious homemade menu options await to satisfy your hunger cravings at the White Sands Cafe. Your complete White River Getaway is cradled in the east arm of the historic Ruthven Rainbow Bridge at the Cotter Trout Lodge, Natural State Fly Shop, and the White Sands Cafe.
$7.50 on this 13th day of March, and we're visiting with BRMC phlebotomist. And I got to ask another question. If each of you wrote a book, would it be funny or serious with your experiences and what you've done?
Oh, probably funny. We see
Funny.
so much stuff, like patients, and you get really funny patients who their favorite thing is like, ow, and I'm like, that's not very smart. You wait until I stick, then you say, ow.
Probably funny. I would say the same thing because you see lots of stuff through there, and the type of job we have, we're in the fields with when you come in from a car crash and the trauma and the things we see, it's the same as the people that are on the floors. And so your eyes, if you didn't take and make something at least a little bit humorous, you would take that job too seriously, because we're out there to help people. You know, our job, even though it's sticking you with a needle, we're getting those doctors those results. We're helping the nurse be able to give you your medicine. We're helping the techs be able to process the sample. And without doing that, I got to look at the good in the situation, and I know they do too. And it's more of the patient contact, and as Emily's working in the clinic now, building the rapport with our patients and making them want to come back every time to us. We are getting patients from out of area now from the other hospitals because of the service we provide at Baxter Regional. So, you know, that says it all.
They do get attached to you.
Yeah.
I just took over for a girl who had been there. She had been at the clinic for 5 years. I think she'd been doing the phlebotomy job for about 2. And every time I call a new one back that hadn't met me yet, they're like, where's Nicole? And I'm like, Nicole's at the hospital now. And they're happy because they know, you know, if they have to go to the hospital, they'll still be able to see her, because you do build a rapport. You're drawing some of these patients once every 3 months at least. And some, you know, they only get their yearly labs, but they get used to you and they like you because they know you can do a good job.
Now, Kathy said when you handle like a car accident, you know, why would there have to be a blood sample taken if somebody's in the ER after?
You may have to get a transfusion.
The broke bone, you're going to have surgery to fix it. And if depending on how bad the break is, they might, as she said, have to
And
give
they
you
might
blood.
want to know if you had a heart attack before you had the car crash.
Yeah.
That's useful knowledge.
And then we also do legal
Stroke,
blood.
The blood can tell them lots of things that throw off. You could have had a seizure.
Diabetic.
There's lots of things
Really?
that could
Wow.
affect you that could have caused the car crash. We also can tell in the blood if you were drinking and driving. You know, there's lots of quality markers that we can check in just the blood sample or a urine sample. So that's how the doctors and nurses are able to treat you. And radiology is able to let you do a CAT scan to see if your kidneys can hold up to the contrast.
Or x-ray a teenager, you know, or a younger person afraid they might be pregnant. You don't want to x-ray a pregnant person, so it's important we get them that HCG as quick as we can so they can x-ray and the doctor can assess you and be able to help you better and faster.
Or that cancer patient. I have a girl in my lab, her name is Dawn. She processes all those send out samples that go, and we send our samples to ARUP in Salt Lake City, and they are at a phenomenal reference lab. And Dawn does all that processing Monday through Friday for those reference lab samples. She also sends out those bone marrow samples that the techs collect with the doctors, so that we can get those results. And then when those send out results come in, she scans them in and she faxes them to your doctors to make sure that they get those results as timely as possible.
Yeah, and so send out those reference labs. Those are all samples that, all tests that we don't run in-house. And there's actually, there's a lot of them, but we do a lot in-house.
I was say we're doing more and more every day
in-house.
in-house. I'm having to catch myself because I'm still doing it as a send out, even though we do it now.
Right. Yeah, recently we added quantiferon gold testing, which is for tuberculosis, and it replaced that PPD test you may have had before, where they put that little bubble under your skin. Now we do this quantiferon gold with all our employees and for patients that the physicians order it on, and it's an amazing test. It is the gold standard, is what they call it. So it is accurate. So once it's done, you're done. You don't have to do any of the follow-up stuff anymore.
Do you guys remember those TB tests? They do it in school when you were in.
What's that?
The TB test. This is back 50 years ago, no doubt. First and second grade.
Yeah.
Had this big old gun. No joke, big old gun. Like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now we just take your blood and we have it right there, so it cuts out a lot of your waiting time on your result, because that's honestly the worst for a lot of the patients is the waiting, and the more we can do and the more we can process and the faster we can do it,
And
the
it gets
less
rid
waiting.
of the subjective part too, because they would put that little bubble under your skin, and then you'd come 2 days later and you have a nurse look at it and see how much, if it swole up or how far it got, and this gets rid of any of that. This is just, this is real science. It's immediate, and you know for a fact if you've been exposed to TB in the past or not. So.
And it's, I've had a couple friends you were talking about, running tests in a car crash. And I've had friends that actually went in for something completely different, like a car crash or something, and come to find out they have other problems, and they found it through the blood test. And he said, if without that crash or without that thing happened, he said, I would have never known.
Right. Yeah. That's not uncommon.
Wow.
And not every phlebotomist does the same thing. My night shift phlebotomist, they draw your morning labs, and that's that dreaded time in the hospital at 2:30 in the morning till 6. And a lot of patients will say, why are you waking me up this so early in the morning? A lot of people don't understand. To get the whole 6 floors of the hospital drawn, we have to start a little bit early and then draw the samples, bring them to the lab, get them processed, to get them out on the charts by, 7:30 in the morning? To get those doctors, when they're starting their rounds, being able to do. My first shift runs all those, send out samples, the samples when the doctor's offices are open. My second shift runs those samples that are clinic processed and running the floors. My clinic staff run patients right there in the office. The med techs are constantly, we see, it's usually about 1,000 billable tests a day in what we see normally, and that means 1,000 individual tests. It doesn't mean we see 1,000 patients, but like she said earlier, each phlebotomist could see anywhere from 30 to 40 patients a day, and so that's a high number of volume that we're pushing out with results. And having the 26 they do a phenomenal job of taking care of them, and they work well with their techs. And the techs, without the teamwork between everybody in that lab, we couldn't make it as well as we do.
Yeah. We do about 200 to 400 urines a day. We transfuse about 400 units of blood a month. There's just a large volume for our area because we cover such a big region of north central Arkansas. We cover just that whole chunk up there, and it's neat because we are a community-driven hospital, and you don't see that a lot anymore. There's all these big conglomerates buying up, like Mercy and Cox, and it's nice to be in control of your health care by the people that live here.
Got about a minute.
Final minute. Dead silence.
There's some of the clinic, like the outreach ones, like we have Tyler at Sakers, and that's good for people who don't want to come to the hospital. There are people, like I have a daughter and she has lupus, and so she's immune compromised, and you don't necessarily want to bring her to a place where there are a lot of sick people. So you have Tyler, and I could take her to Tyler to where there's less amount of people. And so that's a good option for people that don't want to specifically go to the hospital. That's where those draw stations come in, where Tyler at Saker and Adam at Gastro. You don't have to specifically see those doctors to go there.
We also have a draw station at Harrison Pain Clinic in Harrison now. So we have several draw stations now.
BRMC, wow, they amaze me every time.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. That was awesome.
We better run out of time. See you tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Jim Bumgarner up next.